All right. Hi, everybody. It looks like it's 11:30, so I am going to go ahead and kick the session off. So thanks so much for signing up for this info session. Just want to introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Emily Bishop. I am a campus recruiter for the software engineer program with JPMorgan Chase. So I actually sit in the Columbus, Ohio office, and that is where I specifically recruit for as well. I'm not sure if you can see or not, but you may see I am wearing a nice Center sweatshirt. So I did not graduate from Center, but my father actually did. So he was super, super excited that I was doing this session today. And I'm super glad I am here as well. So thank you all for setting some time aside, and I am definitely, more than willing to answer any questions you have at the end of the session. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And then once I share my screen, if you guys can give me like a little reaction, thumbs up, make sure that everybody can see it all right. And that would be awesome. Okay, everybody can see it. Cool. I see a lot of thumbs ups. Nice, nice, nice. Great. All right. Well, again, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the software engineer program, specifically in our Columbus, Ohio location. So going on to the next slide, I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of technology at JPMorgan Chase. So I'm not sure how much you guys know about JPMorgan. I'm sure a lot of you are probably like, well, it's a bank, and that's pretty much all you know, which that's pretty much how people know us. So if you are a Chase customer, you're obviously dealing with like our branches and mostly on the finance side, which is what people think of. But we actually are a really, really big technology company as well. So as you can see over on the left, we do spend annually $11+ billion on technology. Globally, we have about 50,000 technologists. And if you take a look at the map, you can see all the little orange dots are actually where we have all of our technology hubs. So we're all around the world pretty much. Obviously, most of our technology centers are in North America. So as you can see, we're kind of all over the place in the US. And right there, obviously in the center is Columbus, and we are actually the largest technology hub in North America. And then again, 21 tech centers globally, and then 11 in the North America region. Going on to the next slide. So this is just a slide to talk about a little bit how we actually meet students. So obviously it's a little different this year since we're all virtual. And as you can see, I'm sitting in my kitchen. So as we're all sitting at home, sitting in our kitchen, maybe you guys are at your parents' house still, I'm not sure. But we are actually switching a lot of these events to a virtual platform this year, which is really exciting. So our Code for Good event is something we put on where actually we bring a lot of candidates together and work on a real life nonprofit problem statement. So a nonprofit comes to us, maybe they need a new mobile application or a new website, and we actually do like a 24-hour hackathon with students and get to work alongside JPMorgan Chase technologists and build these solutions to them end to end, which is really exciting. Again, we have now not on campus anymore, but virtual campus interviews. So we have our target schools, and then obviously we're super excited to partner with a lot of HBCUs and HSIs as well. Conferences, we go to a lot of diversity conferences such as the Grace Hopper Celebration, NSBE, SHIP, things like that. So if any of you were at any of the technology conferences this year, who knows, maybe you got to talk to some of our representatives, hopefully, a little bit about our opportunities as well. Over on the left-hand side, you'll actually be able to see what our 2020 software engineer program cohort looked like. So the software engineer program is comprised of both an internship program as well as a full-time program. And a lot of the times, if you are an intern and if you do really well in your internship, it is retention based. So we do bring you back as a full-time software engineer in the software engineer full-time program. But as you can see on the left, we brought in 440 summer interns in North America this summer, and about 100 of those, so a fourth of those, were actually for Columbus. So again, pretty large tech center. And then 385 full-time software engineers came for the full-time program, and about 85 of those came for Columbus. And then we do have this other program that I will get into a little bit more in detail called Tech Connect. And we brought in 44 Tech Connect candidates into that program. And then moving on to the next slide. So this is where I'll get a little bit into what program, what each program means. So these are our 2021 opportunities, and applications have been open for a while. So they opened August 1st. So hopefully, don't worry if you haven't applied yet. We're still actively interviewing, actively getting offers, and we probably will be through like the end of December. So typically our recruiting time period is anywhere from beginning of August through the end of the year. So especially in our larger hubs like Columbus and our Plano, Texas location, we're continuously interviewing, continuously looking at applications throughout the end of the year. So no worries, you didn't miss anything. You guys are right on time. So starting out with our software engineer summer internship program, this is a 10-week summer internship. Typically it begins in June. So it usually starts the first week of June, and then it will go through the 10 weeks, typically ending the first week of August. It typically is in person. This year, obviously, we had to pivot to a virtual model, but we were so fortunate that JPMorgan has the capability and the technology to be able to do so. So luckily, we brought in all of our 400 summer interns in North America. We brought them in, and did a virtual internship instead of the normal, regular programming of the in-person. And obviously, fingers crossed, we don't have to do that again this coming year. But if we do have to, then the good thing is we definitely already ran a virtual program.
Yeah. It's all right for me.
Oh, what was that? Oh, and feel free to unmute yourself if you guys have any questions as I go along. Anyway, so as I was saying, the program, obviously we had to do virtual, and we are prepared to do so again, if we need to. The program, the internship, is an immersive hands-on program working on real-world solutions for the firm. So you will be integrated into a full mature software development team in JPMorgan. So we're not going to just give you work to do as a side project and throw it away when you guys leave in 10 weeks. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to fully integrate you onto a full-time team. So you'll be working alongside, full-time software engineers that might have worked with Chase, for 2, 5, 10 years. You'll be with that team. You'll do a lot of paired programming, a lot of hands-on work, and then just a lot of observing as well. So you'll be able to go into the meetings, into the Scrum sessions, the Agile meetings, daily stand-ups, see how it functions, see how things work, in a corporate technology environment, and get a lot of exposure to senior leaders, senior mentors, things like that, to just really help you grow and develop along the 10 weeks. And then our next program, you can see, is the software engineer full-time program. So this is a non-rotational development program, and this is kind of fed out of the internship program. So like I mentioned, 100 interns came in this past summer, and of the ones that did really, really well, which typically most of them do, so we have a really, really high, I guess, return rate of those who were interns, and we do give them full-time offers. So it is, like I mentioned, retention-based. A lot of our 2021 full-time software engineers are going to come from this past internship. So it'll be super nice. If you guys do the internship next year, if you're a junior, then you can kind of go into senior year. You don't have to worry about looking for a full-time job. You kind of relax a little bit. So that is the purpose of the program. That being said, you don't have to be an intern to apply to the full-time role. So if you are a senior right now, if we have any seniors on the line that are graduating, in December of 2020 or maybe in spring of 2021, you can definitely still apply to the software engineer full-time role, even though you weren't an intern. So we definitely still take candidates that did not intern with us. And again, this is going to be very similar. It starts with a really interactive learning experience. It's like a 2-week induction training where you and all of the other software engineers that are in the program do like a 2-week training together, and then you kind of get finally split up and go to your actual full-time teams. You are a complete full-time employee. You are eligible for benefits. And I know the first bullet point says that it's a 2-year non-rotational program. That does not mean that you are out of a job in 2 years. That's a really common misconception. So actually, it just means that after you complete the 2 years, then you are like graduated, quote, from the program. So typically a lot of people just continue to stay on their team that they're already on. But a lot of people after the 2 years are like, you know what, I want to work in a different type of technology or a different line of business. So then they are kind of free to move about the firm how they want. Maybe they want to get more into program management instead of software development. So that's when you can kind of make your move and go to a different type of opportunity. And then the third and final piece of the program is our Tech Connect program. And again, this is for only full-time. So this is if you are graduating in December of 2020 or in the spring of 2021. And this is for some people that maybe don't have a traditional computer science or software development background. So, maybe if any of you guys are on the line that maybe just have like a mathematics degree or maybe have a mechanical engineering background. So maybe you've taken a few coding classes here and there, but you definitely don't feel as comfortable or as confident going straight into a full-time software engineer program role. That is completely fine. This type of position might be for you. So this is actually where we take people who have really like a really high potential to do well in a software development role, but maybe just haven't, they weren't really sure what they wanted to do until junior, senior year of college, and they're kind of like down like, man, I really should have done computer science. I really should have done software development. This is the type of role for you because it's actually a program where after you graduate, our team will send you to a multi-week intensive Java training class or Java training program, basically, to help you gain the right skills to join our team and then develop into a full-time software engineer. So this, again, is for somebody that isn't too confident and not too sure that they can just go right into the software engineer full-time role. They might need some additional training, some additional support. So then they can go ahead and apply for that 2021 Tech Connect program. And that is still open as well. So all 3 of these applications are open on our career site right now. And then going on to the actual application process. So the application process is going to be pretty similar for all 3 of those different programs that I mentioned. So the summer internship, the full-time, and then the Tech Connect. So first, obviously, you just start out by submitting your normal application. So after this call, I'll actually make sure that all of you get the links and the QR codes to go right to all of our applications so you don't have to dig for them. I realize that our career site can be a little intimidating sometimes. There's a lot of different tabs, so I definitely want to make sure that you guys are getting to the right place. So creating an account, complete your application. Step 2 is something we call Pymetrics. So Pymetrics is kind of like a series of 12 online games. I like to call it like a kind of like a personality test, so to speak. So it has nothing to do with your technical ability. I am not a technical person. I am not a software engineer, and I have taken Pymetrics. It's not really assessing you technically at all, so don't worry about that. Again, it's just kind of more of like a fun series of 12 online games to learn how you like think a little bit about like your personality, maybe what type of team that you would fit the best in, that type of thing. And then our third step is something called Code View. So this part is the actual technical assessment of the application process. So you do need to complete CodeView, which is a coding platform that helps us assess how well you can solve problems using code. The good part about CodeView is that it gives you, I believe, like 5 or 6 different languages you can choose from. So, you know, there's Java, Python, C++, there's all these different types of languages you can choose from to go ahead and solve the problems. So don't worry, you know, if you get there and you're like, oh, I've never used Python, are they going to make me? They're not going to make you, you know, you can choose which one you want. And the good thing about it as well, so there's 2 coding questions. First, you solve the problem. I think you get 30 minutes to solve the first problem. And then at the end of the 30 minutes, you actually get a little bit of time to explain yourself. So like a little video will pop up and you get to explain your thought process, explain what you did, how you would have finished solving it if you didn't get to solve it fully, that type of thing. So, you know, you don't get a hard and fast score, so to speak. You actually get to explain your answer and explain your thought process. And then there are 2 of those. So 30 minutes, and then you get to explain for 5 minutes, and then you do another 30-minute coding assessment, and then get to explain for another 5 minutes. So 2 of those CodeView questions, and then your application is complete. So shouldn't take you more than just a couple of days to complete the full process, but you definitely want to set at least, you know, an hour and a half aside to complete that CodeView. Since it is timed, and you want to make sure you take your time and go through everything thoroughly. And then if you look over on the right-hand side, you will just see, again, a little bit more about the application process. So applications, again, did open August 1st and are still open right now. It is a multi-step process, so the step 1, 2, and 3, you have to make sure you complete all 3 of them before any recruiter would start reviewing your application. We do have a lot of different locations for the software engineer program in the United States. So if you go through, you know, all of those different locations, there's Chicago, Seattle, Columbus, Tampa, Plano, Houston, all different types of locations. So if you guys are looking to go somewhere else, you can kind of pick your top 3 preferences. I, of course, am always going to be very impartial to Columbus because that's where I recruit from. I would love, you know, for Midwest talent to stay in the Midwest, of course. So, and like I mentioned, we are the largest technology center, and we pretty much have every single line of business. So, you know, if you're interested in cybersecurity, we have cybersecurity teams. If you're interested in digital, you know, you can work on chase.com or our mobile app. We have those digital teams as well. You know, we kind of have teams all across the board. If you're interested in, you know, AI or machine learning, we also have those opportunities as well. We actually have like a whole innovation lab at our Columbus, Ohio location, which is really cool. So just a lot of different types of teams and different things that you could work on in Columbus. And then as you can see, our minimum requirements, obviously currently enrolled in a 4-year degree program and authorized to work in the US. I did want to mention, if you guys are a senior right now, and if maybe you did like a 5th year to get a master's degree, you still are eligible to apply for the program. So I know it says 4-year degree program, but if you took like an additional year to do a master's, we do accept that type of background as well. So I just wanted to let you know that if any of you are in that situation. And then on to the next slide. This is just, again, a little bit more about our Columbus Technology Center. And then I saw a few people jumped in a little late. So if you guys jumped in a little late, no worries at all. We are going to have plenty of time at the end to answer any questions. So we'll make sure we get to everybody's questions. So over on the left-hand side, again, it looks like we had about 83 full-time hires in the software engineer program, and then right around the 100 mark for our summer interns. There are 4 different offices in Columbus. They're all pretty close together. We have the one main office where most of our technologists sit that actually has 13,000 employees, which is pretty crazy. So 13,000 employees in that one building. And then in the Columbus, Ohio region in general, I think we have about 22,000 employees. So obviously the bulk of us sit, including myself, I typically sit in that really large office. Obviously right now we're all sitting in our kitchens or our living rooms, just like all of you are. And then again, over on the other side of the slide, I just wanted to go over some of the lines of businesses that we are in. So consumer and community banking, CCB, is our largest line of business in Columbus, Ohio. And this is something that you guys will probably, you know, consumer and community banking refers to the Chase side of the business. So if you are a customer of Chase, if you go to a branch, if you have a checking or savings account with us, or a mortgage through us, that is consumer and community banking. That is pretty much, you know, the main part of the bank. And then obviously we have all these other different ones that I'm not going to go through one by one, but GTI, which is Global Technology Infrastructure, they have some really cool projects they work on. They actually work internally for the firm, so they make our technology, my technology, better as an employee for Chase. So they're really, really important, obviously, especially in this crazy time in transitioning all like 250,000 employees we have basically to a remote workspace. So they were really, really awesome and definitely got us all up and running once everybody had to go remote. And then at the bottom, I just wanted to put some things on here, examples of projects that our interns would work on. So you can work on an array of things such as application development, machine learning, mobile development, servers. If you're a little bit more interested in design, or maybe like really, you know, JavaScript and HTML, CSS, and you really are more interested in front-end development, you can definitely work on a web dev team, UX, UI team, things like that. We kind of have an array of teams that you can choose from, across the firm. So definitely a good variety. And then the next slide, of course, I wanted to show you a little bit about what our technology center actually looks like, since you guys can't really see it since I'm sitting at home. So it is actually the second largest office building in North America, which is pretty crazy. And it's actually only second to the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. So it is a super, super large building. You know, if you guys end up joining us, you'll probably get lost a few times. I know I did, so no worries. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty easy to navigate. And it's only actually 3 stories tall. It's just really, really long. So I think it's like the length of like 3 football fields. So it's just a really, really big, wide building. It's not like a skyscraper or anything like that. We have over 5,000 technologists that actually sit in that building alone. So I know I mentioned we have about 13,000 employees in the building, but 5,000 are technologists. And I'm pretty sure that number is growing because we're moving more and more technology folks into the Columbus area. We do have a lot of cool amenities as well within the building, such as 2 cafeterias, a Starbucks. We actually have like a daycare center. If like your babysitter flakes on you, you actually have like a backup childcare center where you can bring your kids. And then also a state-of-the-art conference center where we have a lot of fun events. We hold hackathons. We have like this thing called Innovation Week where a bunch of the technology teams come and showcase what they're working on and all the different types of new technology that they are using. And then if you look over on the left-hand side, that's one of our like cafeteria dining spaces. And then on the right is that conference center that I mentioned. And then I believe this is our last slide. So we have a little bit of a half hour for questions, but our last slide, I'm not sure how many of you have actually been to Columbus or maybe even to Ohio. So I wanted to show a little bit what Columbus has to offer. So, you know, whether you're really into sports or music or the outdoors. I went to Ohio State. I am not a big sports person, which I know is like blasphemy. So I don't really care too much about sports, but I really always like going to the different music venues as well as spending time outside. We have a lot of cool metro parks. We're really close to Cuyahoga Valley National Park as well as Hocking Hills. So, you know, whether you like going hiking, backpacking, biking, things like that, we definitely have a different array of activities to do in the Columbus area. And it's a pretty cool place to work and to live. And then other than that, I think, yeah, we are all set on the actual presentation. So I would love to go ahead and open it up for any Q&A, any questions that you guys have for me. I'm more than happy to answer. And feel free just to unmute yourselves on the line. I think you guys should be able to.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Aman, and I'm a current senior in computer science.
Awesome.
But I was just wondering, because I'm from Japan and I'm on a F1 visa, and you already mentioned that this program is only for like authorized person to work permanently in the US. But I was wondering if there's any chance for international students for this program or other programs.
Yeah, great question. So for this specific program, unfortunately not, but we definitely have programs that sponsor. So I would definitely take a look at our like student career page, and then you'll be able to find the ones that do sponsor. I know you said you're from Japan, so obviously I know we have programs all across the world. So we might actually have a few programs in Japan. So if you are interested, you can also look at our software engineer program and see if maybe we have a program actually in Japan that you could apply to as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Aman.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Noah.
Yeah, my camera's broken all of a sudden. I don't know what that's about. But you mentioned, yeah, you mentioned location preferences and places in Columbus a lot. But I also heard you say virtual a few times. Is this virtual or in person?
Yeah, great question. So, typically it is in person. So we're hoping that by 2021, starting in the summer, that we will be back in person. Obviously, right now, myself and most of the employees at JPMorgan are working remotely. So if we get to a point probably early in 2021 where we feel like it's still not safe for employees to come work in person, then the program would switch to being virtual. So it's kind of up in the air right now. Either way, we would still have the software engineer program, but whether it's going to be in person or virtual right now is still up in the air. But we would obviously communicate that to all of the candidates once we decide on which way we're going to go.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
So I'm not a senior, so is this program for OPT and CPT or like sophomores and juniors too? Because I'm also an international student.
Great question. So for both the software engineer internship and for the full-time software engineer program, unfortunately, we do not sponsor. But like I mentioned, some of our programs actually do sponsor, so you can kind of just check out our website and see if you can find one that you're interested in. But as for the actual grade levels, so for the software engineer internship, we do accept both sophomores and juniors. So if you're a sophomore or junior right now, you can definitely apply to the software engineering internship. And then for the full-time program, we are looking for graduating seniors that graduate either this December, so if you're a fall 2020 graduate, or if you're a May 2021 graduate, you would be eligible for the full-time program.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good questions. Any others?
Sorry, so as an international student, I cannot apply for the internship, or can I?
So for the specific software engineer internship program in the North America region, you wouldn't be able to since we don't sponsor, but we actually do have other global programs. So if you, and I'll make sure to include those links when I send a follow-up to everyone. So if you are interested in working somewhere else in the world, or if you're looking at another program, some other programs do offer sponsorship, and so you can definitely apply to those programs.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions?
Oh, so if I apply for international, is the process is the same as the application process? Are they the same?
Yeah, good question. It is very similar. So you still have like that code view assessment and just doing the normal application. So the application process across all of the locations should be very similar.
So where can I get the link to that? To
Yeah,
the
good
international?
question. Yeah. So right after this session, actually before we log off, I'm going to pull up a little QR code that you guys can scan, and that's going to take you to a little just like form where I get your email addresses, and then I'll make sure to send a follow-up email to all of you by the end of the day with all of the application links.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions? And while everybody is thinking, if you guys have any other questions, I'll actually go ahead and throw up and screen share that link. So again, if you guys want to scan this QR code, then you can go ahead and go to that, and I'll also throw it in the chat as well. And then once I'm done sharing my screen, I'll make sure to throw that tinyurl.com in the chat. Yeah, any other questions? And again, this QR code is just to register into our student talent network, so you can get like job application links. So I'll be sending you guys the job application links right after this session. So that's just to like fill out your attendance. But besides that, any other questions that anyone has for me today? Awesome. Okay, well, I want to thank you guys again so much for taking some time out of your day, and obviously being able, to hear a little bit about our programs and things like that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And then I'm just going to leave this up for one more second. Everybody good and get the form? A little thumbs up. I just want to make sure before I close it down. Awesome. Okay, cool. It looks like you all got it. So perfect. Well, again, thank you all so much. I hope to see all of your names in our application.